everyone, welcome back to another episode of the Legacy Gambit. This week we're doing something a little bit different because this weekend I did some winning, but not in Legacy. I did some winning in Vintage. I went undefeated in the Vintage Challenge, going 8-0 before conceding the finals, which I'll explain a little bit later, with Mono White Initiative, which is my baby deck. So we're going to talk about that, run through some gameplay, discuss the deck a bit more, and hopefully give you some insights into using heuristics from other formats into formats you don't normally play, and sort of vice versa, and kind of, taking some learnings moving forward. But I'm super excited to talk about it. It was a long evening, but I had an amazing time, and I'm super excited to be playing my favorite deck and winning with my favorite deck. If you obviously like the content we make for you, feel free to like, share, and subscribe. We will do more vintage content. We will do other formats if that's something you're interested in. But of course, we will keep doing our regular Legacy content for you as well if you enjoyed it as well. So hit like, share, and subscribe. We're growing. It is thanks to you that we get to do that. And of course, it is not me on the Legacy Gambit. I am, of course, joined by my lovely co-host, Sarah. Sarah.
Hiya.
Vintage gaming. Oh, I'm so excited about vintage gaming. Oh,
it's so good to be back looking at vintage.
So excited.
Just gonna say this for the viewers who don't follow my common Twitter rants. I have unfortunately not been playing much vintage because I've had to be focusing on the Pioneer RCQ season.
Yes.
And then obviously Legacy for the channel. And so that's been all of my Magic time, and I miss my baby format.
Yeah. Me and Sarah both love vintage so much. And so folks, if you followed me personally, you'll notice that the last 2 times I have played vintage, I have top 8'd or I have gone undefeated. Had me a White Plume adventure, and I will do some winning.
Yeah, so this week we're kind of going to go a bit different to our usual format. The usual format where Sahar is like, this is the thing, and I go overly deep. We're going to switch that around a little bit. Because this time Sahar's the resident expert, and I'm the resident straight woman? I don't know how to describe.
Color commentator and play-by-play. Let's do that. Let's use the wrestling. Sure. Let's use wrestling terminology.
Okay, so couple of things.
Yeah.
I want to talk about the deck list first.
Yeah,
because this is not your standard Mono White Initiative list. We've both played Mono White Initiative in Vintage before. I quickly departed for Lurrus because that cat is addictive. But obviously when I was playing Mono White Initiative, the Mono White Initiative list looked very different.
Yes.
There tended to be more swords, more solitudes, more Thalias, those kind of cards.
Yeah.
So I think I want to kind of start with the biggest things that jump out into my head. So the real big one is the move to March of Otherworldly Light, the decrease in Swords to Plowshares. Kind of similar amount of removal spells overall, but what's kind of the reasoning behind those kind of shifts?
I feel that, so first off, I have to shout out Miss Clam, or Clams Are Lesbian, who's been helping me with the deck list. They were testing this deck themselves, and I basically picked it up, and we've been chatting about it ever since. So from speaking with her and kind of my own thinking is that the things that you want to hit, so things like Collector, Lavinia, Ragavan, Lurrus, Bowman, things that things you want to hit that swords will typically hit. March also hits. But what March also hits, folks, is a card called Lurrus Saga. And this is 1 mana, get rid of your Saga. It's also 1 mana, it is also 2 mana, get rid of your Time Vault. And, it's a lot more flexible. So it means that I can open up the slots that would be Swords to Plowshares and use it for hit. This list also is looking at the fact that Mono White isn't actually being played that much at the moment. So a lot of decks are a lot more lower to the ground because of things like Lurrus Saga. And you can also, the exile effect means that against Jewel, you can get rid of One Ring. You can get rid of Coveted Jewel. Yes, it's 7 mana, but we have the option to do that Swords doesn't give us. But Swords is still really good at a 1 mana answer to something. But I feel that having this main deck inclusion of March is basically saying we have main deck ways of dealing with Urza Saga and stopping the tokens coming, and we can open our sideboard slots for more anti-combo hate, which is what the sideboard is kind of addressing at the moment.
Okay, that makes sense. So the way I would kind of like term this to people online, if you look at a list like this and your immediate shock is, oh, that's less removal than usual, actually count up like the spells. They might not be the spells you're expecting, but if you kind of chunk it into like what the cards are meant to do, there is basically the same amount of removals, just different ones. I find it interesting you mentioned Lavinia, as that's like the one card where I feel like March is a significant downgrade to Swords.
True.
But also you need to beat like other things. So it makes a lot of sense. The second one is, obviously we just had the release of Modern Horizons 3, and that's brought a brand new toy to the game.
You know it's a human?
It is a human. I also noticed the lack of Dauntless Dismantler. I think that was the thing that really startled me the most when I was looking at the list. So does Witch Enchanter do like a good enough Dauntless Dismantler impression while also being a land? Or what's your thoughts on Dismantler in general?
So I think so the Dismantler thing is, I think that, so if we take the Lurrus Saga, we'll address the elephant in the room that is Lurrus Saga. If you're playing Dismantler, you're basically saying that you can have your tokens, your Saga tokens, and we can sweep them, and we can sweep your Moxen while you're at it. Or against Duel, we can stop, the generation of doing it. I think Witch Enchanter is actually not so much an upgrade to Dismantler, it's an upgrade to Loran. Because this thing is a 2/2, and Loran is a 2/1. It has vigilance, but it is a 2/1. So I think Witch Enchanter just does so much heavy lifting, and it being a human, I mean, yes, Loran was a human also, but I just find that Witch Enchanter, it being your land drop and a way to deal with artifacts and enchantments, which is most of Vintage, just really helps. And it means that I've had to cut Emeria's Call, which I love Emeria's Call, folks. I've cast that card more than most people. But I feel like having an extra human, so your Cavernous Souls is, well named, it means that when I used to run 2 Loran as a way to deal with Oath of Druids, insert any artifact or enchantment you're worried about, now I have 4 main deck ways of dealing with it. That is also my land drop. So I now play 20 lands and have ways of hitting my land drops, hitting my acceleration. It's at 32 PS of acceleration, but now these 4 aren't just like dead cards. I can cast them on turn 2 or turn 7, and it's still good. Like, this card absolutely is incredible.
So, interestingly, this leads into something else that's kind of observant. And you mentioned, like, the reduction in Loran.
Yeah.
In Thalia, I think, is also similar.
Yeah.
Because now you don't have to play Caracas, right? Like, you're not leaning on Caracas for protecting those cards. You're not doing Lauren loops.
Yeah.
You get to play that land that you're playing.
This Gemstone Caverns? This little thing? Okay, so I didn't get to do it through the run, folks, but I have in Legacy done on the draw, make 2, like having, make a mana, exile. No, the thing I wanted to do, which was the bingo card the entire night, was reveal Chancellor on the draw, exile it to Gemstone Cavern. And to quote Miss Clam, that is better than sex. And I didn't get to do it. Gemstone Caverns, I feel, is a nice inclusion for decks like this, where the play draw dependency is so apparent in probably any format I've played, and that goes for Legacy, Modern, things like that as well. Vintage is so apparent where you are at a disadvantage on the draw, especially for a deck like this which doesn't have Force of Wills. So you have to kind of leverage that moving forward. On the Thalia thing, so the Thalia was a last minute inclusion back in. I actually want to bring up very quickly my list from a previous week, which was pre-MH3, which you can tell this is kind of what people are more adjusted to, which is, Dauntless Dismantler, I've got Cathar Commando as like a way to like deal with Saga, like flash speed. This is probably more what people are akin to, but now because of Witch Enchanter, you have this thing. Same with Thalia. Thalia, I think, because of Orcish Bowmasters and the prevalence of Lurrus Saga, Thalia loses a bit of her potency, but she's still very good. Like, I definitely see a world where I can register, I would say up to 2. Because I feel like when she is very good, she's incredible. She's, like, absolutely insane against, like, combo and, like, fast combo in particular, of just slowing the game down, and then you kind of having that, I won't say respite, but just, like, an extra turn to develop your spells and, like, get the ball rolling to, you know, get your opponent down to 0.
Would you call it a tempo?
I would call Thalia tempo, yes. Thalia is very much the Quinta. Also, she's something to do on 2. Like, she's something to do on 2. Like, I feel like this deck, this iteration of it, wants to do something on 3. But in the version, a couple of weeks ago, before MH3, I purposely wanted to do something on 2, because I felt like doing something on 2 was still just as important. So you could go, like, you know, Cavern, Chromox, pitch something, go, end step, Cathar Commando, or play Dismantler, pass the turn, and then you can do something on 3. You could keep kind of better hands, but because, you know, if you look at this as 18 lands, now I'm running 2 extra land slots, I am going to be hitting my land drops, like, more frequently. So it felt like you didn't need Thalia. This was until the 11th hour, the other Loran, but I felt that was a little bit too much. I thought just having this could be Boromir, Leonin Arbiter, Phyrexian Censor. This last slot could be anything. Honestly, I just like having Thalia because, I mean, you put some counters on Thalia, she's ginormous.
I kind of want to, like, ask the question about that kind of, like, doing something, like, immediately, kind of thing. Did you feel like hands that were just playing these 2-drops as, like, 7s were, like, keepable to begin with?
They were, like, okay. Like, I would, like, again, I feel like Witch Enchanter has sort of moved the needle a bit, because you have these extra land drops. Because I have 2 extra mana sources now in my deck, but those extra 2 mana sources are also disenchants. So this version is a bit more like, I didn't mind doing something on 2 because if I had 3 mana, for example, I could play Dismantler or hold up, I could go like Commander Go, hold it up, for example, stuff like this was a little bit more tempo-y, whereas this is a bit more, I am going to play something on 3. I'm going to play a 3-drop on turn 1, either protected on turn 1 because of a Chancellor, or I'm just going to play Cavern, Mox, play something, go. Like, I feel like this being the extra land drop, but also has double duty or something else, it's actually quite profound. Like, something that I'm going to, it's not even a tangent, but it's a point I want to make. Vintage players, I love you from the bottom of my heart. I love all of you. I think you're all great. But people who play Initiative as Vintage players can't build the deck for crap. Like, I've seen, like, there was a version here that I had with Vexing Bauble, and I absolutely couldn't look at this deck. Just made me cry. Like, I was like, this deck does nothing. Like, we're just, it's like, oh, like, we rely on this card to, like, win the game. Oh, great. How do I win the game? Like, I was like, nah, this doesn't cut it. So, go back. Hold on. And I was like, at least here, I have a bucket load of creatures that impact the game. And I was like, we're going to play these cards because these cards are absolutely, like, busto open. So for me, that's kind of it. I would say, folks, these cards, these 7 cards, actually, if I'm really honest, actually, these 7 cards in the deck list are probably what I would call the closest thing to flex. These could be anything, actually. This is kind of, some people have put Vexing Bauble here, some people have Marches in here, some people have played Source of Plowshares, Thalia, Dismantler, like, you can kind of play whatever you want, but these are probably the closest thing to what I would call a flex slot at the moment. And these 7 cards are probably the things that will change sort of the most regularly, if I'm honest. I would personally go far as to say it's probably actually these 5, but I can appreciate some people don't like Chalice and True Sphere in their deck. I like them still, but I can appreciate that they come out on the draw most of the time.
Yeah.
But yeah, I feel like the way this deck is built I'm really impressed with it. It kind of did everything it needed to do. I will be honest with you right now, Sarah. Guess how many cards I sideboarded in? Out of the 15 I have, how many of these do you think I actually sideboarded in the entire time?
I would hope all 15.
No, Habibi. I sideboarded these 7 cards the entire tournament.
Okay, well, I mean, Archon just means you didn't play the mirror.
No, I didn't play the mirror, and I didn't play against Oath.
Okay, that's... Okay, sure. You still need those in your sideboard.
We're just saying. Like, folks, that doesn't mean that we still register those cards. Even if we don't play them, we still register those cards because we do not want to lose to Dredge, and we do not want to lose to Oath. But these are the cards I've brought in most of the time.
Yeah. My only question kind of like going forward now is like, when we talk about like these extra land drops enabling you to play free drops more often.
Yeah.
Kind of my question goes, well, can I cut Thalia for something else? Like,
yeah.
That's kind of like where I first go, right? Because this was the thing when I was playing Mono White Initiative, and this was back before Modern Horizons 3, and I quickly moved on. But what I kind of found as I was playing it was like playing a 2-drop on turn 1 kind of sucked.
Yeah, it does. It does, yeah, you're right.
And I didn't think it was quite consistent enough at dropping the free drop turn 1. Like, I found like I had to mulligan quite... Like, I mulliganed to 5 a bit more than I was comfortable, and I think that's actually fine in Vintage.
It is fine.
The things you're doing are so powerful, it just wasn't quite what I wanted to be doing.
No, that's fair.
But honestly, now I might revisit it, because I actually do think like the increased land count helps a lot.
This, like I said, this Thalia could be anything. This Thalia could be the 4th March. I know people that have played 4th March. I know Mick Winsource in the past has played 4 Marches in the past. This could be this could be another Loran if you really wanted. You know, as I said, Boromir. There's like a bunch of cards that could fill this slot. 100%. Same with the Mental Misstep. I think Mental Misstep because of Lurrus Saga to a certain extent, but also Jewel and Doomsday. You just want to have something to do against those combo decks because you are a bit soft to Doomsday. Typically,
yeah, I want to misstep a Dark Ritual.
I've got a fun ditty a bit later on a fun misstep. But yeah, folks, let's get in some games. I'll kind of talk through my, Sarah can ask me some fun questions, and a lot of these are going to be things that I've thought about either in the moment or post haste. Because just because you win and you go undefeated doesn't mean you don't learn something, and that is something I'm very, very passionate about. Talking about is that you should still learn from both winning and losing, and that's, I think, is important. Up a game against Boy Triton on Prison Shops. I keep this hand. Yes, Sarah, I know what you're going to say, but Sahar, we're doing something on turn 1. I felt that having Witch Enchanter and Peacekeeper is like, they are not trying to like go super fast. Like if they go like Mishra's Workshop into...
Okay, so we're playing against shops.
Yes, we're playing against Prison Shops, actually. We're not so Golos. There's a Golos in it.
Okay.
So playing against Prison Shops. So, we got ways to disrupt our opponent, kill, a Nettle Cyst, which I think they still play now. I think all the shops decks are sort of amalgamized into one homogenous glob. Some play Golos, some play Dom. My opponents, I saw a Golos and a Tabernacle in game 1, so we're playing against the Prison variety. But they did have Nettle Cyst, so I was like, okay, cool. So... we keep this, which I'm, again, in hindsight, probably should have mulled this, but I reveal a Chancellor, which I feel like, okay, they can't just, go for a big turn 1, so...
Mm-hmm. So, okay. I kind of need to reread how Workshop works. So, Workshop can't pay for the Chancellor trigger, can it?
No.
Okay, so they can't just go, like, Workshop Patchy.
Yeah, because it's artifact spells, yeah.
Yeah, okay, so that's slightly better than I at first thought it was. Yeah. Because in my mind I went, if they just have to like pay 1 extra, but that's not how
No. Mishra's Workshop! So in this case, they go Mox Pearl, they pay for it. I'm like, okay, Habibi, that's fine. Pay for your Mox Pearl. Then we go, I know we see Wasteland, I think we draw Peacekeeper for our turn. I go Plains Go, which is slow. I will admit this is a slow start, but I know my turn 2 and turn 3 are pretty impactful. So we play Plains. Opponent goes second Wasteland, so I'm like, okay, that's a little terrifying. And then they play Patchy, and I'm like, okay, that's a little terrifying. I think I just go So we played Dungeoneer, and now I'm in my head, I'm like, okay, well, now we have a win condition. Because now we have Peacekeeper into Dungeoneer, and I can just keep attacking through this patchwork. It's patchwork.
I mean, I assume you're not going to get to do that because they're going to wasteland you, right? I feel like that's unscripted still, right?
Yeah.
Like, it's going to be Peacekeeper.
Yeah, play Peacekeeper. So we have Golos, Ghost Quarter, Khan.
Oh, that hand's not good.
Yes, exactly.
Let me think about this for a second, because this is actually like a really interesting spot. Like, I don't think Golos is the name.
Yeah, that's fair.
Because if it's Golos, they have to like draw like a workshop.
Yeah.
Well, it's Soul or better to Golos next turn.
Yeah.
Right? Like, and if they Golos next turn,
sure, and
you just go like Witch Enchanter, blow up your Golos, they get ahead on a land, but I don't think like it shifts the board.
Yeah.
Khan is scarier.
Khan is very scary, but my hand is actually quite insulated against Khan.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's naming Wasteland.
Yeah, I mean, they would have to spend their entire turn to Wasteland you then.
I name Wasteland.
Yeah, it's focused on being able to disrupt you via Wastelands.
Yeah.
So you name Wasteland. That means their turn might just be like, Ghost Quarter your Ancient Tomb, and then you just go Ancient Tomb Dungeoneer.
Exactly. So I think they play the Ghost Quarter, I think they actually go Khan, if I remember, and they reveal, if I remember correctly, Vexing Bauble. They reveal Vexing Bauble. Sorry, in the game 1, they revealed Lattice.
I was about to say, if they're revealing Lattice, that would scream at you, I have drawn a Mishra's Workshop.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't feel like anything else makes sense.
Yeah.
And that would be like a tough spot.
Yeah, exactly. You just keep attacking. They reveal they name Vexing Bauble. Yes, I remember they revealed Vexing Bauble, and I'm looking at my hand going, sure. And now I draw Mana Crypt. Now I think if I tried to remember if I could actually play all the spells in my hand.
Okay, so let's count it out.
So it's 2, 4, 5, 7, but I only have 1 white. I'll have access to 2 white because of Kavanaugh spells.
You can double white. So you have 4, 5, 6 if you want double white. Yes. Which means that you still can only play 1 card, right?
Yes, because I can only play 1 card. So 2, 3, 5... No, I can make... Oh, no, because I have to do Ancient Tomb. So I think I just play Mana Crypt... And then I realised that Khan is here.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, playing Mana Crypt doesn't make sense.
Exactly. I realised, like, this is, again, folks, people make mistakes. And I realised Khan's here.
Do you like bolting yourself?
Yeah, sorry. I'm allowed to, like... So I go Ancient Tomb. And then I actually, this is something I made a mistake on. I should have played the Cavern of Souls. I shouldn't have played the Ancient Tomb. Yeah. This is, again...
Continuing the taking self-damage.
Yes. We love self-damage at a time like this. So then we go 14... And I think we go Dungeoneer, if I remember correctly. Play Dungeoneer, get the initiative, and then I think I attack the Khan. Because I go get my basic, and then we attack Khan. Yes, we're attacking Khan. I reveal a Chancellor, put it in the bin. So I'm not casting that card. I mean, I can, but... So we deal with that. And now I'm like, again, should not play this Mana Crypt because I'm going to hit myself.
But this spot feels like very advantage.
I feel very happy right now. So now they go play Vexing Bauble, if I remember correctly, or they try and Ghost Quarter me. I can't remember. Oh, they play. They're playing Metamorph, so they took damage. And I was like, oh, you're playing Metamorph. Okay, so you play Metamorph to copy my Dungeoneer, but I am now.
So they get to take the initiative. Okay. Yes.
But I have this Witch Enchanter in my head, Sarah.
Yeah.
This is what Witch Enchanter's for. But the thing is I thought they might have like an island. And I don't think they have an island.
I don't think that's normal.
No, let me
to have an island.
No, I don't think they had an island. I think they failed to find. Yeah, they failed to find. I'm like, okay. Well, now they play white, so they play the Vexing Bauble. If I remember. No, they don't.
So just to talk on that for a second. Because if people don't follow Vintage, they might be like, what? This deck doesn't play any, like, basics. So, Shops, its entire thing is to play stuff ahead of curve.
Mishra's Workshop, baby.
By using Mishra's Workshop and Soul Lands and those kind of things. Just lands that tap for more than they should. So, right from the beginning, you already have to play 4 Ancient Tomb.
Yep.
You already have to play 4 Mishra's Workshop. Right, so that's 8 of your lands already taken. Then you start putting in things like your restricted copy of Tolarian Academy.
Correct.
Because you're an artifact-based deck, it taps for a million things. You put in your Wastelands.
That's 4 cards.
That's another 4. Then you need your Urza Sagas.
That's another 4.
Which also synergizes. And you very quickly hit the limit of how many cards you're allowed to play.
Yeah.
Now, Golo Shops gets to play a bit more lands because they play Golo, so they play a bit more utility lands.
Yeah.
But then, again, you're filling your land slots up with these utility lands. You're playing Inventor's Fair, you're playing Caracas, you're
Ghost
playing...
Quarter, like, more...
Yeah. Strip Mine, all of these kind of cards, and you just run out of room, essentially.
Most decks do.
Yeah, you don't have colored mana requirements. The only colored pips in the entire deck are Phyrexian mana.
Yeah.
So people just do not run basics in this deck, and they shouldn't run basics in this deck.
For this Dungeoneer, folks, if I, like, yes, we have the Switch Enchanter in our hand, but this Dungeoneer would have, this game turns into effectively a pseudo mirror match because they've got a Dungeoneer from this Metamorph. Now, yes, we got the Witch Enchanter, and this is where Witch Enchanter does, like, God's work, but this is what... Okay, I have a fun fact for you, Sarah. What do you think is the most played creature in Vintage?
Oh, Phyrexian Metamorph.
It's Phyrexian Metamorph. Because, folks, this card is absolutely insane. Because it copies this card. And it copies Wandrings and Coveted Jewels and Time Vaults and Bowman and whatever else you want to copy. This card is insane.
If anyone's wondering how I know that without playing a lot of Vintage recently...
Ika Baronin posted this poll.
Oh, did he? I genuinely didn't look at that. The way you can, like, reason it is that it's the one creature that is played by every archetype in Vintage. And what I mean by every archetype is, I mean every, like, macro archetype that isn't Dredge. Because, like, the combo decks play it because Jewel Shops plays it.
Yep.
Your, like, Shops decks play it. And sometimes you see it sneak into other decks.
I played it in mono white before.
Exactly. Like, not as much anymore.
Yeah.
But it's one of those things where, like, it turns up in places because it's fundamentally a busted Magic card. Look
at this card.
That isn't restricted.
Why is it not restricted, sir?
It shouldn't be restricted.
No, it shouldn't be. I'm kidding. This card is absolutely fine. But the fact that, folks, you can cast this off a Mishra's Workshop, and then you pay 2 life, and then you copy whatever you want. It's incredible. But I was like, okay, you've played this. Normally I'd be a bit worried, but I have this Witch Enchanter, and I'm like, okay, we've got game. I can deal with this. I can deal with this season dungeon. I think they played the Vexing Bauble that they got from their thing. Their patchy gets quite massive, but again, they can't attack. So they could, because we've got beef on our side of the board. This patchy, I was worried about this patchy when they played it, but as the game's gone on, I'm like, well, you haven't spaffed your hand out. This patchy isn't ginormous. And a worst case scenario, I will just block. So then we take that. I think we take damage off our Man Crypt because we're bad gamers. We didn't need to take 3 damage. We play Archon. Now I think I just go for Witch Enchanter here, if I remember correctly. 9. Oh no, doing some maths because I can play 2 things.
Yes, you could go Witch Enchanter Archon.
I think that's what I end up.
Probably pretty good.
Yeah. Witch Enchant. I think I'm trying to figure out how I do the maths without hitting myself too much. So I think we do it like this.
You will end up hitting yourself twice.
Yeah, I end up hitting myself twice. I think I've realised that, like, while I'm trying to figure this out. So I think I play Witch Enchanter first.
Or you decide to only play one thing to preserve life total.
Or I could also think. Yes, I think I might be. Actually, no, I think I am.
Okay.
So I think
I mean, that is something you have to work out, because theoretically you can be taking 3 damage a turn from your Mana Crypt.
Yeah.
And you have to kind of assume you're going to...
Oh yeah, I was losing my Mana Crypt. I think even up to like round 5, I was losing all my Mana Crypt rolls. If I, like, the majority of my Mana Crypt rolls, and I was like, okay, I need to just... So I think I attack. I think I just attack with Peacekeeper. I think I see a Strip Mine. I leave it on top.
I mean, it goes to your hand.
Oh, it goes to my hand. Yes, you're correct. Get the initiative back. And then I think I put counters on, the Dungeoneer. So now this patchy can't attack because I have all this beef. So now I think the hand is...
question.
Yes.
This deck doesn't tend to play removal, right?
No. Dismember.
So
Dismember if I have to remember.
Okay, maybe you should be playing around Dismember. Okay, maybe that's the answer to my question. Because what I was going to say is, can't you swing like both Peacekeeper and Dungeoneer, and then like chump with Enchanter? Like if they swing in, they're saying, "Oh wait, Anointing Peacekeeper has Vigilance."
Yeah,
so
I could have attacked
you
both.
Swung in
I should have attacked with both. I think I was worried about getting the I think I was worried about getting the initiative back. But you're right. This has Vigilance, so I should have attacked with both. You are correct.
I mean, if you're worried about like getting the initiative back, then again, it's swing both, right?
Yeah,
because
I think
can block with Patchy.
Yeah. I think this makes the clock a bit slower. You are correct. I think in hindsight, I should have just attacked with both. Attack for 3/7. They block 1. I put some counters. Yeah, I think I should have attacked with both. You're correct because this has Vigilance.
Mm-hmm.
So then I think they found a workshop.
Okay.
I love that for them. And I think they
were able to start doing annoying things.
Yeah, I think they go play Golos. This is Golos. Is this Golos? Was this Wormcoil Engine?
Wormcoil Engine?
It might have been Wormcoil Engine.
Oh, that's terrifying.
That is terrifying. Yes. Now I am worried.
Okay.
Now I'm worried. Because now we've got a Wormcoil Engine to deal with. What we can attack through it, with this having protection from creatures means that we can just start like chipping away. So whilst the life total back and forth is annoying, we can beat a Wormcoil.
Yeah, I mean, you can swing in with Dungy.
Yeah.
Give it pro creatures, hit them for 5 after trapping them for 5. That puts them to 4.
Yeah.
At minimum.
Then they go back to 10 and then we do this. So they sack the Vexing Bauble, which I was like, okay, they've kind of realised that this is not where we're at. And then I think I do take damage off my flip again because I'm a gamer.
Yep.
Ow! I trap them, they go to 9, and then I play and then I've got Gnarlrod. Okay. I think if I remember correctly, I strip mine them.
Let's pause.
Yeah.
And like think through the situation. So last time we could have had a bit of extra damage. That might now be relevant.
Yes.
But let's just think about the situation as it lays.
Yes.
Right? So the immediate obvious play is you can strip mine their workshop.
Yep.
Strand their Golus's in the hand.
Yep.
Swing with Dungy.
Yep.
Hope to hit like a thing on top, maybe put them to 3.
Yeah.
Right? And say you have to swing in with your Wormcoil, or I will be able to kill you next turn. Chump up Wormcoil, swing Peacekeeper Siege Engineer next turn, force a chump block, kind of go from there.
Yeah, exactly.
So, is there better than the obvious? Interestingly, we can keep them off Golos without necessarily strip mining them by peacekeepering them.
Yes.
We also have to think about the damage from Ancient Tombs, whether we're allowed to tap Ancient Tombs.
Yeah, because we die to 2 flips if we do.
Yeah, it's like a single tap on an Ancient Tomb is an extra turn off the clock.
Yeah.
In terms of that. I don't feel like Archon does a lot unless we're strip mining.
Yeah.
So an Archon line would have to have a tapped Ancient Tomb.
Yes.
As part of it, right? So
Correct.
You go strip mine, tap tomb, tap planes, go to 6, Archon you, say you're never going to be able to play your Golos. I have this big board. I'm not scared of your Wormcoil Engine.
Exactly.
God, this spot is tougher than it needs to be.
I know, right?
I'm a moron. What? I'm forgetting you can tap Mana Crypt for mana without taking damage.
Yeah.
Okay, so we can always strip mine play something. Okay, I didn't have to spend all
I was like, what mental gymnastics you putting yourself in? No, we can tap our Mana Crypt. Alright, so let's see what I end up doing. I play strip mine. I think we go for the strip mine line.
Yep.
And I think I should have attacked Dungeoneer. I think I valued the vigilance because I can block here as well. But I think because I wanted to...
maybe the 1 damage doesn't matter.
Yeah. I think I put the Chrome Box into my graveyard. I attack for 5. So yes, it's 6 Yeah, so basically there's a point of damage I lose by not attacking with Dungeoneer, but I think maybe the Vigilance is probably worth it.
Yeah,
and then I think
whether the point of damage actually matters. Because if they swing in with Wormcoil and you have a way of removing their patchy, they're dobs, right?
Yeah,
like they're dead on
exactly.
board.
What am I doing? Oh, I'm untapping. I'm untapping is what I'm doing.
I was casting Archon, but
I think I'm casting Peacekeeper. I think I cast Peacekeeper. I think I just wanted more beef on the board. This is
the thing I like about casting Archon is it feels like if they're ever going to get out of this, they need a double spell turn.
Yeah, no, I think you're right. I think I think for me, in my head, because they're on 4, I'm like, I need beef to block this Wormcoil entry. And I think I was addressing what was on the board rather than what they could draw, which is not correct. I think I should have thought about, if I'd thought about it, Archon is the way they get back. Like, Archon shuts the door on this thing entirely.
Yeah, I mean, the nice thing is Archon's always damage as well, because it's flying, and they don't really block flyers.
Yeah.
I was already assuming we're chump blocking the Wormcoil, so I'm not.
Yeah, so they've drawn Strip Mine, so they've just drawn all their, like,
Mm-hmm.
And I think here I just do name Golos, if I remember. To, like, really to, like, basically go, okay, I have more creatures than you. I think I just named Golos here. Yeah, I think I just named. So now they've just got a Strip Mine. So they've got a Strip Mine and nothing else, and I am like, okay, we can deal with this. If I can keep one creature alive, if I can keep Peacekeeper and Dungeoneer alive, they're dead for the most part. But yeah, this matchup was like, see what they do.
I mean, they're gonna have to chump block next turn. So
do they? They attack with Wormcoil, which I was surprised by.
Well, if they don't, they're dead.
True. Yeah, no, I think that's fine.
Season Dungeoneer, so that's a forced attack.
Yeah. So now they attack, and I'm trying to remember how I block. I think I block with Witch Enchanter. I'm like, okay, my Witch Enchanter's got its job, and now, and then they're just dead on board.
Are they?
Because I block with 2 things. I attack with 2 things.
And they block one of them.
Block. One gets pro creatures.
Yeah.
They block Dungeoneer. So the Peacekeeper has to hit for them to die.
Okay, so yeah, you swing with both. They block the Dungeoneer. They take 8, 9, maybe?
9, yeah. Maybe you're right, actually.
Yeah.
Okay, so maybe you're right. I think I 5, 7, because they attacked Dungeoneer. Yeah, you're right. So it was on 9, so yeah. So yes, yeah. I think the attack previously where I missed the damage maybe cost me here in that moment. But But then I play Caracas. I'm like, sure, Habibi. I got no legendaries. This is what you mean by the utility lands. So they have to play these utility lands to kind of do this. So now I think they tapped their Caracas for some reason. I was like, why are you tapping your Caracas? You have like.
I guess they were like, oh, I can't. Yeah. I can't play Golos because you named Golos. Yeah. Okay, we're gonna take a lightning bolt to the face again.
I took so much damage from this exchange. I was like, what is happening? Why am I losing all my flips? I draw a card. I'm like, okay, this is good. I draw another Null-Rod. I'm like, Habibi, I don't need a Null-Rod right now. And I think, so now I'm like, oh, this is bad. So I play land. I think I just attack.
Yeah, that feels right.
I think I just go.
You can swing with.
Oh no, okay. So this is a bit conservative. Okay, I am being a bit more. I am probably playing this a bit too conservatively in hindsight now.
Okay, so you know their entire hand.
Yeah.
Right. So you know that they don't have a Dismember.
Yeah.
Well, technically they could have drawn it. You know they drew the Caracas.
They drew it. Yeah. So their hand is Strip Mine, Golos. Yeah.
Golos. So if you swing with everything, if they block on the one that you're chump attacking with, they die. So they're not allowed to do that. So if you swing with everything, they have to chump block with the Patchy.
Yeah.
And then you have blockers for Wormcoil, and they need to play something or they die.
Yeah. No, you're correct. I think I played this a little bit too. I think I played this a bit too safe. I think I kind of zeroed in on this being like the unblockable like force. Just like we'll just keep attacking with this, and now this can also trade with this. But then I don't particularly.
My worry is that you eventually end up in a position where they just
dig themselves out of it
until your Mana Crypt kills you.
Yeah. And that's
my worry.
Yeah, and I was starting to worry about that as well. But I think in hindsight, yes, I should have attacked with everything. Do I do anything else? I think I play Archon here. Yeah, I think I just play Archon here because that's another threat. And I think here I'm like, okay, now I think I've got this closed up. But yeah, I could have closed this game like 2 turns ago. This is their draw. I think this is them playing something. They play Nettle Cyst. Okay. Nettle Cyst is a worry. Because now they can, I think, did they just equip it straight? I think they just equipped it straight onto the worm coil. Yep. So they equipped it to the worm coil. So now 10-10.
Yep.
And I think they attack, and I think I just block with Archon. They go to 12, and then I think then they are dead. I think then they are just dead, because what happens is I have a Witch Enchanter on top of my library, which I saw from Dungeoneer. Sorry.
Oh, right. And
so we now just Witch Enchanter, pay the wards off the throne, attack and kill them.
I kind of want to push back on categorizing your play as safe.
You think it was a mistake?
Precisely because this is a matchup where you are the beatdown, they are the control.
Yeah, true.
And the more time you give them, the more time they have to draw more worm coil engines.
Yeah, that's fair.
And it's actually less safe.
Yeah,
right?
Maybe you're right. Yeah, maybe you're right in that respect. Maybe...
Yeah, especially as well because you have a mana crypt in play that is constantly bolting you in the face. So turns have
the longer
genuine...
Yeah, turns have a genuine concern, yeah. No, you're right, you are right. I think maybe playing this I should not play this mana crypt when I did. I maybe played the mana crypt like a couple of turns later, but I don't need to play this mana crypt when I did. Especially when I had a Karn out. But you're right.
You've seen a lot of Vexing Baubles. Maybe it's a consideration because you don't want to have it.
I don't think I saw it in game 1.
Okay.
So,
sure.
But I suspected that it would be there because it's shops, so why wouldn't it be? But yeah, no, you're right. I think I should have probably closed this. I should have probably closed the game on this. Closed the door on this matchup a lot sooner than I did. For sure. So, but sometimes this happens. This is the world we live in. But yeah, this matchup was, I kind of felt a little bit like, okay, I kind of got through it with the skin of my teeth, but upon reflection, I definitely could have won this matchup by like turn 5. Like, definitely.
So I want to review the Mulligan decision, actually.
Okay.
With that in mind. We don't actually have to go back to it.
We just go, yeah.
But you kept a slow hand on the draw.
Yeah.
Your opponent also kept a slow hand.
Correct.
Do you think that's a reasonable assumption to make? Because like my worry is
no. I think in hindsight I shouldn't have kept that hand. I should have mulliganed to 6.
Cool. I was going to say because I think in like a lot of times people are just going to keep a faster hand than this, and you might have issues.
Yeah, 100%. I in hindsight I don't think I would have kept that hand, but because I was a game up. This is something I've realised as well. I think when I'm a game up, I think I'm a bit more, I want to say loose, but I'm like, okay, my hand does something. But I think I need to be a bit more, my hand needs to do something. Like, the shift in tonality has to change.
Yeah, you have to, like, define a range.
Yeah, exactly.
Instead of, like, a range just being lands and spells. Because if your hand...
doesn't do anything.
Yeah, like, if your range is lands and spells, then you are keeping way too many hands.
Yeah, 100%.
And I defined by hand strength, I think.
Next match, I am in round 2. I am in game 2. I'm up a game against Lurrus Saga. My opponent was playing a couple of new cards in their Lurrus Saga shell. My last known deck was Lavinia Snapcaster Mage, and then they show me a certain new frog. So I'm like, okay, I love that. So our hand is not amazing.
No, but it is like a turn 1 interaction that's uncounterable.
Yeah.
Right?
So I think in this instance, I think I actually keep it because it is turn 1 Peacekeeper and we can find other things to be doing.
Yeah, I mean, sequence, I think, has to go like Moxen first.
Yeah, before Cavern,
bait them into thinking that they can counter something.
Yeah. And then you go, let's go Lango, if I remember correctly. Yeah, just go Lango. Am I that right? We draw Witch Enchanter. I'm like, very nice. We can deal with a certain Urza Saga later. Go Mox Emerald, Mox Pearl. Go Cavern, naming Human. And then we play Peacekeeper.
The amount of times I snap off a force on that Pearl back in the day.
I know, people do it. People are doing it less so now. But they definitely, that's the way I lose.
Yeah.
So then we go play Peacekeeper. See their hand. Now they fetch.
Yeah, so
so many people when I was playing this challenge were fetching as soon as I played this card. I was like, I'm not naming your fetch land. Calm down.
They have to.
I know they have to. I'm like, Habibi, calm down. I don't care about your fetch land. And then they Lorien revealed. I'm like, okay, you really don't want me to name any of your cards, sure. Can I name the Lorien revealed?
Yeah. I believe so. It's an activated ability.
It is an activated ability, you are correct. Again, I don't care about your cards. So I see two frogs that are Seal of Cleansing. I'm like,
2 frogs, seal, Wasteland, Tundra. Interesting.
Exactly. I can't, and I think I'm thinking my hands kind of can deal with this.
Yeah, so it feels like they get to slam a frog and you just like wasteland them, and then you just have to deal with the one frog.
Yeah.
Which seems like you can do that pretty easy.
Yeah.
They can go seal to try and cut your white, but that feels really weak, and then you just kick it out from under them again.
You just got.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So we can cut them off black.
Yeah.
In a lot of ways. What do we name? I mean, I guess you name frog then to kind of like force that to happen.
Yeah, I think I end up naming frog. Yeah, so I'm like, okay, so now you just have Seal of Cleansing that I don't really care about, and a way to get through this. So I'm like, okay, I'm feeling very happy at the moment. I'm like,
if they go seal, blow up your pearl, you can't enchant them, but we don't care.
They enchant so they do seal my pearl. I'm like, okay.
Okay.
That's fine. Annoying, but fine.
I'm guessing it's just, unless we draw something that really changes it, like it's Wasteland or UC hit you.
Yeah. I think I just attack first.
Good habit.
Attack first. Everyone attack. Okay, make sure you're attacking. And now I'm trying to remember if I just go Wasteland. Yeah, I think I go Wasteland the Underground Sea. So I now strand this frog even more in their hand. And then they've got Tundra, Wasteland, and Unknown cards. So I'm feeling great.
Yeah, I'm a little worried in this spot because I don't think our hand applies a ton of pressure. Like, when I do this to someone, I'm very much like, I want pressure because I really want to close it while this is still in your hand.
Exactly. So now they Wasteland.
This is what we're inviting.
Yeah,
right?
Exactly. So... And I kind of realized this as they Wasteland me. I'm like, oh no. I think I've tried to play. And then they play Tamio, and I'm like, oh god. Now...
Okay, so we're both playing Delver.
Yeah,
we're both
playing Delver at this point. Because now they've got rid of the Seal of Cleansing, they've got rid of this Tundra, they've got one Tundra left, and they've got this Wasteland. So these are the 3 cards and 1 unknown. And I'm like, okay, this is not amazing. I'm trying to remember if I try to Solitude here. No, I wait.
No, I don't think you can. Okay, maybe you can.
So I think this is what we end up doing. So I think we end up trying to play the Delver game. I should have Wastelanded first. This was my mistake. I should have Wastelanded then. Well, I mean, I wasn't worried about days because, like, I don't think Lurrus Saga.
You can also.
But yeah, I go Witch Enchanter, evoke. They force, and then I'm like, okay, you're forcing. So you force pitch frog. So now you're down to 2 cards. So
and they are Tundra frog.
And so they've got Tundra frog. That's all they've got. They've got Tundra and a frog. And I'm like, all right.
Maybe we don't Wasteland now.
See, I think I end up. Do I end up Wastelanding? I can't remember. I think I think I wait. Okay, I do wait.
Yeah. Okay, that makes sense to me.
Because now, like the thing is though, this Tamio is going to take folks. I end up losing this because this Tamio ends up taking over the game because I end up Wastelanding here. This was a mistake. Because now they swords, or they just float the white. Did they just float the white? Yeah, they just make a clue because they would play their Tundra. Because this is okay. If I remember correctly, now they would play their second Tundra, and I think they brainstorm. Or they play Ruby, play Tundra.
They get to crack a clue.
They do. The thing they get to crack a clue and just crack this clue. I think the following turn. Yeah, so they crack the clue, and I feel really bad. I'm now like, okay, this is not going well.
Yeah.
I get Lotus. I'm like, great. I can't really do anything with it. I attack for 3. Hit frog. I'm like, all right. Still not feeling amazing because I feel like I've just got delvered a little bit. And you're right. I don't have enough pressure. This is not enough pressure to win the game. Now I'm like, okay. They attack me again with Tamiyo. I'm like, sure. You get another clue. And I think it's this turn they might... Yeah, here they brainstorm, if I remember correctly, and then they flip the Tamiyo. And I'm going to just stop it here, because what ends up happening is they end up playing Frog, and Tamiyo and Frog take over the game, and I never draw another creature ever again.
The sequence of draws is kind of rough. I'm trying to think,
welcome to playing these games. Welcome to playing these games.
I'm trying to think, like, are there any decisions like I majorly like disagree with that would have changed things?
Maybe the Mulligan decision.
I think the Wasteland on Tundra was incorrect, but it wouldn't have ended up mattering, right?
Yeah,
It only matters if you end up drawing a free draw.
Yeah.
But because we're playing to apply more pressure, like, we want to play to draw like a white Plume adventurer, right?
Exactly.
Be like, cool, go to the races. The Mulligan decision, I'm trying to remember what the 7 was. So
it was Mox. It was Mox Pearl, Mox Emerald, Cavern, Peacekeeper, Witch Enchanter Solitude? Something like that?
No, that feels like a key.
Oh, maybe there's a Wasteland in there somewhere. I think maybe there's a Wasteland in there somewhere.
I don't know. I mean, that feels like a keep. Maybe we're not meant to pitch cast, but we didn't see a force prior to that, so I'm not even that upset about that.
This is the first. Game 2 was the first time I saw Tamiyo, because game 1 they just played Frog and then they died, and then game 2 was like this Tamiyo's taken over the game.
Like, I feel like the mistakes were inconsequential, but they're still mistakes.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
That makes sense.
I feel like this game was just lost.
Yeah. As soon as I got to like 1 emerald, I was like, oh no. Oh no. We've been delved. Folks. Okay, folks, we're in my quarterfinals. So, fun fact, I actually am 4 minutes late to this match, because I go to like have a little sit down away from my desk, because it is 4 a.m, and end up chatting to a friend on Discord away from my desk, and then realize that it is I have eaten 4 minutes into my clock against Casper, and I apologize to Cat. I apologize. But on game 3, Sarah, this hand's incredible. I nearly mulliganed this hand, and then realized this hand is nuts against Jewel. It doesn't beat Force, but one thing I've learned, Sarah, about playing against Jewel is that their blue count is so bad.
Yep. And if they have it, they have it.
Yeah. And if they've got the only card that helps with that is Sephoric Springs. And if they've got Sephoric Springs, live your best life, habibi. So I actually have beaten Casa in round 5, 2-1. The game 2, I think they just went off on turn 1. And then game 2, I just played Archon and they just stared at me. So yeah, but this is our hand on the draw against Jewel, and I'm like, holy majesus.
That's the 1.5 check.
Yeah.
If they have Force of Will or they have a turn 1, it's like, cool.
Yeah, if I get a turn, this is absolutely nuts. So yeah, we're on the draw. Mox Ruby, I'm like, sure. Mishra's Workshop, and I think they just go Ring, if I remember correctly. Yeah, they just go Ring. I'm like, okay, I can beat Ring. So we're like, all right. Amazing, you've got a ring. Can't do anything about that. I'm like, okay. So we get a turn set.
Okay. So I actually want to talk about sequencing this turn once we run a card. So let's
draw a card. So we draw Thalia.
Okay, tank time. Alright, so the obvious bit is that obviously But, Lurrus, and Pearl have to go out before Chalice.
Correct.
Which creature are we going to end up playing here? Can we play multiple? I hate that Witch Enchanter says destroy instead of exile, right?
I thought of that too.
Okay, so Lotus, Pearl.
Yep.
That gives us like 4 white.
That's correct,
great. Yes. I think I just like raw cast Chalice 0.
Okay.
At that point. If they're gonna force, they probably feel obligated to force that some amount of the time.
Mm-hmm.
So I've gone like Lotus, Pearl, Chalice. Let's assume that gets forced.
Yep.
I can like crack Lotus for white.
Mm-hmm.
Go like Thalia. Even Plains tap everything Archon at that point. Like that works. Yeah, I mean, that's how I would sequence it.
So we do. So we're nearly there, but we make a bit of a mistake doing this sequencing. So we go Lotus, obviously. This Black Lotus are quite good. We play our Pearl.
Yep.
And I actually play...
maybe there's an argument to play Thalia first. Okay, I'm gonna... Force of Will.
Yep, I'm gonna hold my hand off. So, I go Black Lotus, play Thalia.
Okay, this might actually be better, because if they don't force this, they can't force whatever you slam next.
Exactly.
Yeah, I think this is actually better than what I suggested.
Okay, so then we go... I realise... Okay, now you'll realise what I mean in a minute. Because I go, I want to play this Chalice on 0, but now I'm going to play Thalia.
Oh, right, yeah.
So we got the weird...
It's still worth it, though.
It is still worth it, yeah. So I think we try to play the Chalice on 0. That gets resolved. And then we play this Archon.
Yep. And all of them have to resolve because they can't pay 1.
And now I just... And to quote Clamavus at 3:48 in the morning, GG shake my hand. I send a screenshot of this board state and they go GG shake my hand. Because Thalia is absolutely nuts here with this board state. Because I got 5 cards.
Plus Chalice is very good. Plus Archon is very good.
It's insane. This game is not over yet. We still play for another while. And we actually get into a position where I got a bit flustered. A, because it was the time, and B, I hadn't seen a certain interaction online in, I think, ages. So, opponent goes, draw for ring. I'm like, amazing. I love that you got 1 million cards. You're going to play one of them. And you have to pay 1 million mana for it. They play Soul Ring, and I think that's their turn.
Yeah, I mean, they're not allowed to play
exactly.
anymore.
So they play Soul Ring. I'm like, cool. They still remember that they can't tap anything. I'm like, again, at this point, folks, we're all a bit sleepy. Playing this tired is a skill set that we all have to master.
Difficult skill set.
It is difficult. So they played Ancient Tune tapped. I'm like, fantastic. Oh, they had the thing is, now they have a lot of mana. Now I'm actually a bit worried because they have, when they untap, they've got 3, 5, 6, 8 mana. So they can cast a jewel. They can cast a coveted jewel. So after the fanning about of trying to decide what the... And here, I feel I make a mistake.
Okay.
Because, what do you think I end up doing?
Okay. So we got this position.
Yep.
So there's no way we can keep them off mana
to cast
for any of their big plays.
Correct.
Right? Let me look at the jewel shops list again. Because it's been a little while. So this position feels very, very dominant.
Yeah.
So you start having to think about, okay,
what do I lose to?
How do we lose here?
Yeah.
Jewel doesn't even feel like it's how we lose. Because, like, if they just slam Jewel, they draw 3 cards, which is terrifying. But that's their turn. You swing and you take the Jewel.
Yeah.
That's horrible for them.
Correct.
So what they really need to find is, like, some way to get rid of your Archon and then go off.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Argenta Mastercore is usually one way.
There's also Dismembers, right? So it's like Argenta Mastercore, Dismember. Karn lines don't feel that threatening because they can only do 1 at a time.
Yeah.
Right? Okay, so Argenta Mastercore is a shout. I wasn't thinking about Argenta Mastercore.
Yeah, Argenta Mastercore is a way. The other way we lose is Vault Key. We lose to Vault Key. Because they'll end up...
Yeah, but they can't do it all in one turn.
No, but it's still that is still a way that we lose this game.
Argenta Mastercore is, again, on a turn delay.
Correct.
So I don't have to worry about that.
Yep.
Vault Key, also a turn delay.
Yep.
Dismember, not a turn delay.
Correct.
However, my thinking is that I don't believe extra 2 damage is worth opening us up to the turn delay lines.
Yeah.
So what I think the play is just like planes, swing for 4, pass.
Yeah.
Specifically because all the things I'm really, really scared of are on this turn delay, where they have to go the thing, and then I can play Witch Enchanter.
Exactly.
Right?
Now, see, you're very clever. But this is 10 to 4 in the morning.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
I'm playing at 10 to 4 in the morning, and this is not an excuse, but this is...
No, I'm gonna make this point, actually. I might be wrong, because I just realised I didn't do the maths on this.
What do you mean?
Your current clock right?
Yes, Habibi.
So you're doing...
I'm doing 4 damage a turn.
Yeah, well, let's assume it's 6.
Yeah.
Let's assume they don't tap the One Ring any more times, but it's going to stay there.
Yeah,
right?
So 6, 12... So 2 turns.
That's a free turn.
Yeah, it's a free turn clock, yes, you're okay.
So, amusingly, Witch and Shadow makes it a 2-turner.
Correct.
Now that could be relevant if we're only scared about Dismember, right? Because we want to cut down card draw. Okay, this is actually way more complicated than I thought it was.
Yeah. This line ends up working out, but I will get to the turns of the game where I basically, folks, I play Witch Enchanter and I blow up the Soul Ring because I am like trying to stymie the mana that they could make because everything, as you said, is on a 1-turn delay. So I am like, let's close the door. We'll play this. This is now a 2. You know, we go attack 15, 13, 13, 7. This is like 2.
Yeah.
So I now blow this. I think I blow up the Soul Ring. That's the only thing I can blow up because I don't want to blow up the Rock Ruby. And then we attack for 4. We go to 15. And then we say... And then they play Time Vault.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so it's these 1-turn delay lines.
It is. But this is where I now go... I am now kicking myself.
Okay, but I've got some funny news.
What's that, Heavy?
Time Vault gets them very close to dying to Ring. Because, like, you 6 them.
Yeah.
They untap, take 3, that's 9, they're at 4. If their turn is just, like, key, untap, Time Vault, they die to Ring.
That's... Yeah, like, we end up... So now we're in this weird... Okay, so I'm going to... What ends up happening is... and I'll kind of play it out. I think I'm just going to let it play out. Because they end up untapping the Time Vault and taking extra turns to try and find key. And I don't think it's this turn. I think I get my turn because I think I play White Plume. If I remember correctly, let me just pass in. And I think I draw White Plume as my card for turn, if I remember. Yeah, they unbound Moxjet. Okay, get Mana Crypt.
Can they, like, play One Ring and then untap Time Vault and the protection sticks around?
I think that, if I remember correctly, let me just kind of... I'm going to just skip through this a bit. I think I attack for a Jillian. They go to 7. So they're on virtual 8. The virtual 7. So they're dead next turn, basically.
Virtual 4. Yeah.
Virtual 4. So on virtual 4, so in my head, they're dead. So they metamorph the ring. Yeah, here we go. And they have a fresh ring.
Giving their turn with protection.
Giving their turn with the protection. And this is where I start to feel a bit like, you'll see in a minute what I mean. I'm actually just going to let it play out a little bit. So they get ring. Oh, I should pause it here. Because now I think I draw White Plume. If I remember correctly. I draw White Plume and play the White Plume. Just again, because they've got protection. But I play the White Plume, I go to 14, I get my land. I'm like, okay, cool. I will admit, this is where I got confused. Because they skipped a turn because of the Time Vault, and I didn't realise.
Okay.
Because so they still have protection. So when I got my turn again, I attacked. I mean, we'll see, and we can see it play out. I'm just going to let this play out a little bit.
I mean, the thing about it is it doesn't save them a ton because, like, it's... Yeah. You have trap. Oh, you don't have trap coming.
Yeah. So this is something. I'm going to pause it here. I go like, what's happened, and I go the other way because I get flustered because they've skipped their turn.
Right. Okay.
So I go the other way, thinking like, oh, I just go this. Okay, folks, I'm going to admit this now. This is my natural state, like going right. Unless going left, because I just need to find anything. Even going right is fine, because finding Witch Enchanter is actually fine. But I kind of get a bit flustered here. Keep this Dungeoneer, which is fine. It's not there. And then I attack, realizing that they still have protection. So I'm just going to play this out. Because at this point, I attack, realize they still have protection, and I honestly just hold my hands up and I go... If I'm dead to Vault Key, I'm dead to Vault Key. Like, I'm just doing this, okay? My hands are up because I realize I've made a mistake. Because now they play Coveted Jewel.
Yeah.
They now are tapping the thing. They take an extra...
Yeah.
Like, they take their extra turn. They start hitting their ring. And then they don't find key. And then...
So notably, even if they found key, once they have to tap ring to find it, they need, like, a replacement ring as well.
Yeah.
Because they need to go key, untap, go to my turn, like, rid of the ring, will also do vault key things.
But for me, in that moment, when they skipped their turn, I got flustered because I was like, why have I got my initiative trigger again? And kind of in that, my heart was really pumping at this point because I was like, I am dead. I'm dead. Like,
I think what you ended up doing was actually better than what I was thinking now in hindsight, because like my idea in going left is like, okay, so if they ever pass the turn back to you,
they're just dead.
Like, they're just dead. But that's also just true in general.
I mean, look at the sport.
You should go Lostwell, because then if you find another enchanter, you just blow up the time vault.
Yeah.
Right? Like, so no, I think actually going Lostwell was best. Did you double bottom, or did you...
No, I kept this Dungeoneer on top because I kept this Dungeoneer, and I as soon as I did it, I was like, what am I doing? I don't need this card. Like,
okay, yeah. Like,
so
that's the only mistake there, I think.
So I think that was the only mistake, keeping this Dungeoneer, because I didn't need it, because look at his board state. So this, to me, like, if, again, folks, it's just, again, 4 a.m. at this point, and my brain is kind of, like, running on empty, but, like, I felt this Witch Enchanter I felt after the game, because I had to wait for the semi-finals, I felt this Witch Enchanter at the time I pulled the trigger too early, because the Soul Ring didn't matter in the equation of how much mana they had. And I could have just held it. But I think it worked out, but this game was still mine to lose.
Yeah.
Even with us on the board.
Because, like, the difference is, like, it's like a turn faster clock versus covering yourself from Vault. And I think because Archon slows them down so much, it is correct to keep the Enchanter in your hand. But what I'm saying is it's not trivial.
No.
Right? Like, it's...
I could have not drawn this White Plume. I could have not drawn the White Plume. My attack is just this bird and this lady with a sword. She's a good lady with a sword, but
yeah, I mean, ultimately the White Plume didn't do any damage, right? So that's not like a thing.
It's just these two. Like, the hand was insane. But the opening 7 was like, as we said, GG shake my hand. But I definitely felt as this game went on that they dug themselves out of this kind of semi-lock situation by ring, metamorph, and things like that. Because I can't blow the metamorph up because it's a ring which is indestructible. So it has to be like March. I have to draw like March in that moment, which I don't think. March might have done it actually. Or March I would have just hit the time vault. So, but yeah. But I genuinely, at that point, as soon as they started taking extra turns, I literally had my hand off the keyboard going, am I dead? And held my breath for like, the 2-3 minutes that Castle went through their turn, and I was like, oh my god, I've won. Like, because sometimes the deck does have a fail rate. So
I mean, they only play one key, right?
Yeah, exactly. So they have to find it.
Yeah, they have to find the key.
But yeah.
Oh, that's not guaranteed, but
yeah. I mean, they had more mana than God. I mean, how much mana they had. That's why I was a bit like...
They drew like 6 cards on that sequence.
Exactly.
Which is a lot of shots to give someone at finding something. Like, mana is effectively gated by the once per turn restriction unless they play Dismember.
Exactly.
Right? So it's about, like, is Dismember more likely than all the other, like, 1-turn delay problems?
Yeah.
And I don't think it is, because there's, like, 2 Dismember, and then there's 2 Argenta Mastercore and Vault Key as, the other things, right?
The rest of the stuff, it's all gated by Thalia or Archon.
Yeah, I'm wondering whether them slamming a Worm Coil is, like...
Gangbusters?
Like, is slamming a Worm Coil going to be a problem at some point in that?
But then I would have gone Lostwell anyway. If they slam Worm Coil, I just go Lostwell, try and find a Witch Enchanter or a March or something.
Yeah. Yeah, I appreciate that. I'm just like, this is in the lines where you've kept Witch Enchanter in hand.
Yeah.
Right, like, I'm just, like, is, like, effective life gain from Wormcoil a problem?
We just tack through it, right?
Probably not.
Well, because we're going to get to Catacombs, and then we can just start pushing.
We're assuming all this before we draw White Plume.
Yeah, that's true. Okay,
I'm going all the way back.
Okay, so let's assume this card. Let's assume this White Plume just doesn't exist.
Yeah, like, I'm going all the way back to when we actually played
the Witch Enchanter. Yeah. Because then we draw like then we draw like Chromox Mana Crypt.
Yeah.
Maybe we could have waited.
It's a rough spot.
No, it's a rough spot. I know. I agree. I feel like I got away with. I feel like this matchup I got away with it. And then I won game 1, Castle won game 2, and then we're here with a game 3, and I was like, well, I'm on the draw. And then I saw my hand. I'm like, if I get a turn, we're gaming. This is the matchup where I did it. This is where I thought I'd want the Dismantler, and I didn't miss it. Because what does this Dismantler hit on this board? But yeah.
It really does feel like just Archon plus Chalice plus Thalia was a ridiculous amount, and then everything else is like tiny
percentages. Yeah. But look what they've discarded. Like, look what they're discarding. It's just like all these cards are very good.
They fundamentally don't have time for it.
No,
because they're kept to play one spell a turn in the stack that is built around playing a lot of spells in a turn.
Exactly.
Right?
These are 1-2 punches.
Yeah.
These are the two best cards literally, folks, these two cards were the best thing the entire tournament. And it wasn't even close. I beat Andreas in round 5, and we beat him 2-0, and I'm like, amazing. The only thing I'm going to say at the start, Sarah, is we're playing to our outs, and then we're going to see what happens.
Mm-hmm.
So,
okay.
Look at this hand!
Alright, so for people who haven't played Doomsday in Vintage, let me tell you something about looking at this hand. Right?
Mm-hmm.
So, you can play around Mindbait Trap.
Yeah, you can.
But often, if you're playing around Mindbait Trap, you're not playing around like other forms of disruption, because you're essentially making like a pass the turn pile at that point. Right? Annoying things about this hand from a Doomsday player. Reveal Chancellor makes us have to play into Mindbait Trap to just turn 1 Doomsday at all.
Exactly, my darling.
Right? So we go like land, Moxen, let the Mox get countered, Dark Ritual, or even like tap, let it resolve if it's like a Mox Jet. Tap, Dark Ritual, Doomsday, that's a third spell. So we're already in Mindbreak Trap range.
Correct.
That's annoying. And the second point is like some of the most annoying things to play against into Doomsday are things that you make your pile and then the pile gets disrupted somehow.
Correct.
Things that are great at doing this are the cards Wasteland, the card Archon of Emeria, and the card Peace.
Yes, Habibi! That's what I'm telling you! This hand, I looked at this hand and was like, this hand's busted.
Now, there is a notable flaw to this hand.
There is. There is no acceleration.
So it is leaning on... It almost feels like it's like, if you make a slightly wrong pile, you're dead. But maybe there's like Doomsday geniuses can weave through this.
I mean, Eco Baroded is like a goat. So, I mean, they will say they're not, but I would be like, have you seen yourself? Have you seen your results? I keep this hand purely on the fact, Andreas hasn't seen the Mindbreak Trap yet in the games we've played. It's all just been Archons and Thalias and just Trinispheres. So they don't know about this. They don't know about this Mindbreak Trap at all. So I keep it because whilst it's slow, if they do the turn 1 Doomsday thing, we got.
Yeah.
So we keep, and I think they keep as well. Folks, if you want to see the other perspective, Eco Bronin has put up his top 4 of the challenge, which he sees this side. So I've revealed a Chancellor. I'm like, amazing. Oh, game. They go Cycle Street Wraith. I'm like, okay, Habibi. I love this. Cycle Street Wraith again. I'm like, okay, game. Underground Sea. And I think they probe? So they play Moxjet. Okay, so they go for Moxjet. They pay for it, if I remember correctly, which is kind of your line, Sarah.
Yeah. I specifically said, like, pay for Moxjet, Dark Ritual, Doomsday.
And they pass. And I'm like, okay, I feel all right now.
All right, no Deer at Doomsday right away. That's good for the home team.
It is good for the home team. And here, I decide to do the Delver thing and Wasteland them. Because I'm like, if you're still doing Dark Ritual Doomsday Fastest Oracle, I still got you. So I'm like, okay, pass the turn. And I think there's a line that I have, which I'll talk about when we get to it. And Andreas doesn't draw the second land drop. So we're like, okay, we're gaming.
Right, I want to get that Archon into play as fast as possible.
Well, we're getting there, Habibi. We're going to get there. Don't worry. We got you. We draw a Mental Misstep, okay? I'm going to put these 2 cards back here. I'll explain why in a bit. But we're going to put those cards up. So we play, I think we just play the Wasteland. Yeah, we just play Wasteland, say go. I'm like, okay, Habibi, that's all I got. That's all I got right now. So this is, like, I am a bit worried that this might be a bit too slow. Because now...
I want to talk about playing that, actually.
Should I play Cavern of Souls?
So, my issue is if you play Wasteland, you're never playing one of your free drops next turn. Right?
Let's say draw Mox.
I guess, yeah. I just feel like...
I have got like 12 pieces of acceleration.
Yeah, I guess. I just like... Why are we cutting off Soul Lands from like our draw?
Yeah, no, that's fair. I mean, I've got 4. But no, you're correct. I probably should have just played Cavern of Soul, naming Archon, and said go.
You just want to like delay the Cavern decision, or what was the?
I think in my head was like, I just want to keep you off. I think I had zeroed in that this Mind Break trap was the way I was going to win the game, so I would basically just do anything to like stop you playing. And if you are going to play, have a way to play, and then eventually I'll kill you in like 4 or 5 turns.
Okay. It's just like, in my mind, like, Archon...
Does
like,
God's work,
It turns off D-Writ Doomsday entirely. Yeah. It turns off anything that isn't, like, a pass-the-turn pile.
Yeah, no, I think you're correct.
I mean, it depends. Like, obviously they can remove the Archon. Like, don't get me wrong on this. Yeah. But it's, like, generally quite annoying...
Yeah.
deal with.
No, I agree. So I think you're right. I think we could have definitely swapped the lands over for sure. I think Andreas here finds... Did they find land? No, they'd say go. So I'm like, okay, we need any mana 1 time. We draw another cap. I'm like, okay, now that...
Right. Well, now we can name both.
Now we can name both. I think I end up naming Archon here, and then I think I name Human the following turn.
Sure.
But this here just passed the turn. So here I'm like, okay, this is
like minorist EV thing, but you should name Human first.
Just so I
no, that's a lie. I'm completely wrong again because of the Soul Ring.
Yeah,
the Soul Land thing.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm a hypocrite.
No, that's fine. You got it. So now they go basic island, knowing that I've got this Archon coming. They go pond preordain. So I'm like, okay. This is fine. If Andreas is just preordaining, doing all this stuff, that's fine.
Yeah. No need to misstep that one.
Yeah.
Like, no need to misstep it.
No, exactly. We can wait.
The card's not even restricted.
No, Habibi, it's very good. And here, I think I draw my Cavern of Souls this game. So I go Human, and I think I just I think I just slam this Archon down, and I'm like, okay, we're gaming.
The nice thing about Archon as well that I didn't mention is it also turns off the Thoracle petition kill as well.
I mean, demonic consultation.
Yes. Sorry. Petition, because I've been playing Pioneer. Sorry.
Demonic consultation and Fastest Oracle.
Yeah. It turns off that kill as well.
Yeah. So here, if I remember correctly, my Archon gets cut down, which I'm a bit sad by.
Okay.
I'm like, all right.
I mean, I was expecting Fatal Push, but Cut Down is interesting.
Cut Down kills Archon. So Cut Down, the reason why Cut Down is in instead of Fatal Push is that triggering Revolt in Doomsday is harder. So killing Archon, killing Collector Roof, Lavinia with Cut Down is better than Fatal Push. So I think they had like a 2-1 split when I watched their video afterwards. So I'm like, okay, this is kind of annoying. Just cantripping. Brainstorm. I'm like, okay, Habibi. And I think, I draw that. Okay, so now I'm a little worried because I'm now like, okay, so you found your Underground Sea. They go, this is Brainstorm into Ponder, if I remember correctly. Yep. So this is just cantripping.
I mean, we don't have pressure on them and they're sculpting, which is always a little scary.
It is a little scary, but I've got these two. So we are...
Yeah.
So here, on retrospect, not in the moment. In retrospect, I'll show you what happened. I play Mox Sapphire. I think Cleric. And I think I just play Archon again.
Okay.
Had I known the outcome of the match, I think I would have led on Peacekeeper.
Yeah, I mean, to me, Archon seems like the play.
Yeah, but I had just been cut down. So I'm like, okay. So now I have to worry. Now I'm in my head going, okay, this cut down, like if they cut down me, it's fine. But I'm like, we're going to still slam it. We'll have a good time. So I'm like, okay, can't be countered. Your Force of Wills can just rot in your hand. And then I Wasteland the Underground Sea.
Okay, that seems fine.
This is all fine. I'm like, okay, we've got a clock. Everything is great. And then I get cut down again.
Okay.
And I'm like, I could have played Peacekeeper and not had to worry, and then let the thing, because I could have just played Peacekeeper, seen what it was, and then like see what their hand was, and then.
Okay, but then you don't have an Archon in
But then
play.
I don't have an Archon, so maybe I just have to accept that. Andreas,
if you really hate this so much, you can mental misstep the cut down.
No, I think in this, I was like, okay, you know what, you've dealt with too much.
No, like I genuinely think that line deserves some consideration.
I could have mental misstepped this. Yeah, I could have mental misstepped this.
So the reason why that can be considered, like they obviously can't force them out misstep.
Nope.
Archon says 1 a turn.
Yep.
Then you like drop Peacekeeper the turn afterwards.
Yeah.
Right. So you have like
I could have mental misstepped
blockish.
Yeah.
And you have like max disruption, right? Yeah. The downside is like you let them pay their 1 mana spells, but also Dark Ritual's just bad while you have an Archon. Ancestral Recall is scary, but also like that's their 1 spell a turn, and you're like free-turning them.
Maybe I could have I didn't think about mental misstepping this actually. I could have mental misstepped this actually.
Yeah, I actually think that might just be really good.
I didn't do it, but I feel like now you said it, I didn't think about it.
Yeah, because it cuts off Oracle Demonic Constellation. It cuts off Rocket Doomsday. It makes counter spells feel bad because they can't actually protect their own combo with like counter spells. They just do the thing. Sure, it makes Mindbreak Trap look bad, but Mindbreak Trap's there for when they go like remove your Archon. Yeah, because that's automatically free spells again, because they have to jump through the Archon barrier.
Yeah.
I feel like it makes Necro look really bad.
Yep. Big head.
Yeah, no, Moxen look bad. It makes Lotus look bad.
Yeah. I think mental misstepping is probably the line. I did end up doing it, but this mental misstep will become relevant very shortly. So we let that go. We're like, okay, sure. So they go fast.
Oracle Consult.
We're ready.
Yeah.
So Oracle on the stack with Trigger on the stack. They go Consult.
Yeah, and they can't have double force, so this doesn't work. So you can mental misstep, and then if they force, you mind break
trap, and that's basically what happens. I mean, I'm just gonna play it out. So
yeah,
we force, we mind break trap, but I think mental misstepping the Archon is the better play.
Mm-hmm.
Now on reflection, I didn't even think about that. I got so excited by this screenshot, and I lost my bananas. I was like, "Oh, look at me gaming."
I mean, I think mental misstepping is like worse if they have yet another removal spell.
Yes.
But again, like, that is kind of a big ass.
I mean, I looked at Andreas' 75 and it's like a fatal push.
Yeah, like a third one. And they've already seen 2.
Yeah.
And you get to, like, Anointed Peacekeeper.
Look at whatever that was in their hand. So the only thing I wondered is, firstly, I played to my, I like, as much as I say I wrote play to my outs, like, these 2 cards, like, winning me the game was, like, you know, that lined up, but I think me protecting my Archon from a cut down, the second one, would have still protected me from this line.
Yeah.
So as much as I'm like, look at the screenshot. What?
What did they pitch to force?
They pitched another Oracle. They pitched second Oracle.
Oh god, so that's all of their win cards.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, so the hand is like Oracle. So, like, on their turn, they went for it. So they at least have, like, Oracle.
Yeah, I think I could.
Cut down, Demonic Consultation.
Yeah.
I feel like this is a brutal beat for Andreas.
Oh, yeah, 100%. 100%. There you go. Is it? There you go. So this is Andreas's hand.
Okay, so go to the point where you get him. So there's a demonic tutor rotting in his hand. That's interesting.
Yeah.
That's so interesting. Okay.
Yeah, because I would have
Did he draw the demonic tutor for that time?
Yeah, he drew.
No, I agree with Andreas's play. I think he has to force it.
Yeah.
Through. Like he's like, I have one layer of protection, and it's so rare that you have like double interaction when you're tapped out. I think Andreas's play was correct. He just gets slammed for it.
Yeah.
So what was his draw for that turn? I want to see what his hand was when he chose to cut down.
So
this
is the hand. So he cut down, and then he draws demonic tutor for the turn.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, I actually 100% agree with Andreas's play. It's just a shame it doesn't work.
Yeah. It loses. Right? It like Andreas even says in the is this the this is the first one? Sorry, let me get to the second one. Yeah. So this is they.
No, that was the turn.
That's the okay. So yeah.
So they
down.
Go.
So cut down.
And they're like, I've got protected kill.
Yeah, they're like, I've got protected kill's amazing. Like, how can I ever lose? And then they draw DT, and then we go here.
Yeah, like DT doesn't
do
matter.
Anything. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then we mental misstep, and I mean, in any other given Sunday, this would have killed me.
Yeah.
100%. And then you can see the body language of like, okay, mental misstep. Like, that's annoying. Because, they didn't see mental misstep at all. And, like, in both... They hadn't seen mental misstep and mind break trap in the 4 games we played. So
such a disgusting beat.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, like...
I completely just... I like, they GG me up. They GG me up. I need
that screenshot. I've got a couple Doomsday players I need to send that to. We can call it a split.
You can call it a split, final split. But yeah, I also call it undefeated. At this point, I went undefeated. 8-0 in Vintage is nothing to laugh at. The games we showcased, there are definitely things I could have done differently. 100%.
I think I have like my own perspective on what happened.
Okay.
Like,
I think that I'm a gamer.
Well, is that, but the other thing is, I think, like, generally speaking, like, Mono White Initiative has been slightly disrespected. You came in with a different take on Mono White Initiative than most people have seen.
Yeah.
There was more tuned to fight the metagame.
Correct.
And then you drew the cards that you put in your deck. Like,
we love drawing the cards we put in our deck.
In my mind, there is, like, a significant element of this that is, like, winning at deck registration.
Yeah.
Like,
Max Torsion talks about it quite a lot.
Yeah, like, sometimes people are disrespecting a deck. Not because they, like, disrespect it, but because they need to focus on other things.
Yeah.
And then it just comes in. You've made, like, some interesting tuning points, like the March of Otherworldly Light, that lined up really well. The Mindbreak traps lined up really well into the metagame you ended up hitting.
Which is...
And
I played... Like... I played Doomsday 3 times, and I played Jewel 3 times.
Yeah. Like, ultimately, like, the choices your deck made lined up into the metagame you went into.
Correct.
And you had made the choices there. Like, sure, we can talk about, like, little percentage loss in, like, different spots in the different games. However, you made a massive percentage gain by the deck registration decisions you made. Which is ultimately, like, I mean, it won, right? Like, that's a key point. That is, like, more important.
Let's not be about the first round. I won, okay?
Everyone has to get lucky to win a Magic tournament.
Yeah, very true.
Like, full stop. That's how the game works.
Yeah.
Like, some decks need good variants more than others. I don't really want to talk about that. But, like, the key point is, though, like, the deck list itself tuned to exactly what you wanted to see.
Yep.
It worked. You drew your restricted cards, which, as everyone knows, is an invaluable vintage skill.
These are very good restricted cards.
Yeah, like, as much as I get really critical, because I'm, like, in a coaching mindset, and I'm like, I want to point out these issues so we can, like, get better as a player.
Yeah.
Like, this deck is built better than I would have built it. So
Shout out Miss Clam. Shout out Clams Are Lesbian for the deck list. Like Miss Clam knows how to deck build. That is definitely like. Don't get me wrong. I also agree with this deck. Like, not to say that I just willy-nilly took this. I also agree with some of these deck choices. Would I register this again, like next week or the following week? Maybe not, because the online metagame for Vintage is a bit more fluid now. Bosch and Roll won NYSE with Oath. I probably would want to have. I mean, even still, I think even this has good Oath, a half decent Oath matchup.
Feels really good into Oath. Like the marches again are like incredibly good.
The mental misstep's a bit mid, but it's like
you kill the cantrip, like it's fine.
Like attracts is kind of
but then you're kind of putting the cart before the horse there a little bit. Like the way you beat Oath is to not let them get the attracts.
It's this powerful wizard square, and this powerful wizard square, and this powerful wizard square, and this powerful wizard square.
Yeah, Chalice does a lot there. Like, again, like my major kind of like focus on this is like there are a lot of different ways to get percentage points in Magic.
Yeah, 100%.
I feel like people obsess over one more than the other a lot of the time. 100%. I'm guilty of this. I focus much more on. I usually take stock lists and I just like try and play them as well as I can.
Yeah.
I think I'm actually not very good at deck building. And it's probably something I need to work on going into the next couple seasons of things.
I'm a tinkerer, but I'm also a tinkerer that needs I need another mind who is also on a similar wavelength. So then I can ask and have the decent discourse that's in my head. But I, for multiple reasons, folks, imposter syndrome, FOMO, whatever it may be, I don't necessarily get it out of myself. But when I talk to somebody else or other people who are invested in a deck and are working on building the best iteration of it, I can then have interesting conversations and talk about how I felt playing the deck or what I feel could be different or what I could change or ask. Like, I remember before I registered this deck, I spent like a good, I want to say a good like half an hour, 40 minutes in the initiative Discord just asking why. Like, why have we got 3 marches? Why is there no dismantlers? Why 1 swords to plowshares? Like, asking questions that I would normally, I play, the previous top 8 I played this. This is a very different animal to this. Like, it doesn't look like it, but on the surface, the way you play this version is very different to the way you play this version.
Yeah, I mean, they're like targeting slightly different things.
Yeah, 100%.
And that's... God, I love Vintage so much. I miss it.
I love it so much. For me, gives me the confidence is that Doomsday and Duel are typically Mono White's worst matchups in previous iterations. And
so if you lose the die roll?
You lose the die roll, you just lose. One thing that was super interesting that ended up not becoming relevant is I was bringing in Swords to Plowshares in against Doomsday. Because, similar to Legacy, their Duke plan is Murktide or Shieldred.
I don't think they ever go for their Duke plan against you. In my mind, when I'm playing Doomsday against Mono White, like, I'm just trying to combo you
as quickly as possible.
I don't want to play the Shelly Necro game. Like, sure, Shelly Necro, like, I get so many cards, I get so much life, you're never going to be able to, like...
Yeah. I spoke to Miss Clown about this, and she was like, look, you have to respect the fact that that might happen. But, yeah, I think the Duel and Doomsday matchups are still difficult. This version of the deck at least mitigates that somewhat. But if people see this list and saw that did well, then people start registering Gemstone Caverns, Mental Misstep, and Mindbreak Trap. And then we have, then the full cycle goes around. I'm just excited people register Gemstone Caverns in Mono White because I think it's great. And yes, the matches of Magic where this card is registered in my deck and my win percentage.
You might want to consider a white Plume altar because
I've got a Chaos Adventurer altar because she's smashing through the patriarchy. The ladies of Vintage coming out and smashing the patriarchy. If you are unsure about like playing initiative and you're like, oh, I don't think it's very good, or you think it's like very easy, it has more play to it than I think people give it credit for. And I think that for me is something I've been like flying the good flag on, is I feel like a lot of vintage players want to feel clever, and actually the best way to feel clever is by killing your opponent.
I mean, if it didn't have much play to it, we would have had nothing to talk about.
I mean, am I right? We've had so much to talk about. This deck has got layers, and also strong ladies. So with that, we thank them for their service. Thank you for hanging out with us, folks. I had an amazing time talking about vintage. I'm sure Sarah did also. This weekend, I am going to MagicCon Amsterdam. I'm going to try and do a little bit of content while I'm there. Depending on how much time there is. But the Magic and Mental Health panel that I will be doing on the Sunday will be going live as a audio recording the following week. That's going to be a little Brucey bonus for you all. Till next time, again, thank you so much for hanging out with us, entertaining us on vintage. We love this format. We want to do more content on it in the future. But if you like it, watch it. Tell us you want more vintage content. And we'll come back with some more cool MH3 fun stuff and some A to Zs of Legacy into the summertime. But until next time, it is a goodbye from me, and it is a goodbye from Sarah. Bye!